Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out a brand new music video just premiered, released this morning from Dreamcatcher. So this is going to be their music video premiere for Maison. Now, they also have a full album coming out, and as you guys have told me in the past, they tend to have thematic albums, so I'm very interested to see what this is all like when it's put together. So a little bit later today, when that is all released, I'm going to be listening to that, checking that all out myself. But for now, we have the music video, and we're going to react to that and check it out together. So I'm excited for this. I keep looking down at my lap in case you see some movement, like a little black creature moving around. Binks, my kitty, is here. He's kind of hard to see right now. He's blending, but I lifted. So Binks is also going to react to Maison, so here with me. Now, I will say before getting into this, I can see that there isn't an English language translation available yet. They have English captions available on here, but when I actually click on them, nothing seems to come up, so I don't think they're fully processed and timed and working yet, probably because this wasn't posted that long ago. So we're not going to really know exactly what they're saying unless they use English at some points. So we'll just have to kind of enjoy the song and the music as it is, for the actual sounds and the visual and the dancing and everything without the lyrics. But that's okay, we'll be able to look those up later. Hopefully still pick up something, get a sense of it. Nonetheless, I am excited. Hope you guys are as well. Let's check it out. Dreamcatcher's new music video, Maison. Here we go. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, their album theme is apocalyptic, right? But she seemed almost like she was, the meteor crashing into Earth. Very colorful apocalypse. Alright, this is an interesting combination of visuals. She levitating bodies? It's a very, sort of Grecian goddess feel here. Yeah. Woo. Okay, so I'm hearing jungle polar, yeah. Yeah. See the tattoo on her back. Very appropriate. What? Whoa, look at that headpiece. Woo! Okay, yeah, she's looking badass. Oh shit! Okay, I don't know what is happening here, but that is really sick looking. That was pretty badass. They're all statuesque, like they're. Okay, all right, okay. So, Maison, and yeah, makes sense after actually watching this and checking out like this. There actually were a good amount of lyrics that were in English, so that was able to help me with the, I think, interpretation. Though, like I said, it's going to be very basic because it's just based on what I'm able to glean here from a first watch. And those couple lyrics that I could make out. But Maison, of course, if French and it's home, so it makes sense, of course, that they're saying "save my home," and mentioning things like polar jungle. So, of course, that in light of also the apocalyptic theme of the album that's supposed to be coming out, and the visuals that we see in here of like a post-apocalyptic world landscape. Very much. I think that you could take that in a couple different ways and give it some double meaning, because on the one hand, I think one of the things that they like to do, or at least it seemed to me so far, is they like to kind of combine concerns with real world issues, actual real world worries, concerns, social issues that they think are significant, with a sort of like mystical interpretation of them. So, we've seen in the past, of course, them adding into like horrific fantasy elements, and adding in kind of like a move through time and kind of cyber, I think you guys know what I'm talking about, sort of elements. And so this one seems almost like it's a combination of a message having to do with literally like saving our home, the earth, sort of environmental issues and catastrophe, which you see very, very well played out in the kind of post-apocalyptic hellscape they're sort of presenting, but also with some, again, some sort of fantasy mystical elements, which you see represented in a variety of ways and images throughout here, including, I do think it's interesting because there was some more like classic fantasy sort of elements in the representation of them almost as like mythical goddesses or Grecian goddesses, when they are presented in all white and they're standing in these temple areas. And then at the same time, there was a different type of fantasy element because there was some symbols that I guess you could tie into Grecian mythology as well, but when I saw them, the first thing that I thought of, and maybe that's just because of like the type I'm listening to and the this group in particular and some of their interests, was metal, like very metal associations, like with the metallic ram's head and the transition of the one statue into like skeletal features and the colors that were utilized in there. So it's definitely an interesting combination that I'm going to have to go back and look at more. But if they are going to be incorporating more metal elements into this album as a whole, then I'm definitely really excited to hear that and see what they're going to bring to the other songs, because I'm a big fan of that genre of music, which you guys know if you've watched other things on my channel. But yeah, so like I said, there was very much also like some save my home, again, like I said, could have that environmentalist undertones, but it also could, if you're like putting it in the kind of fantasy storyline, can have to do with saving from whatever the crisis at hand is, which they show basically one of the girls coming down to Earth almost like a meteor strike, and then there's people with some interesting masks on their head walking around with laser weapons that they're shooting, so almost like a sci-fi element, as though there was an invasion or something horrific going on. So again, I think that I would have to look at it some more and then combine it with the overall story of whatever the album is itself, but I think it probably has that kind of dual meaning where there's real world issues underneath kind of like a fantasy storyline, which is really cool. I also thought it was cool that you kind of notice in the different areas they set themselves up in. You know, of course, there's a different aesthetic for every different scene, every stage, as they always will have. But everyone seemed to be like a something sort of identifiable in a way. So there was clearly the like Grecian goddess sort of motif and landscapes. There was very French looking. I don't know how else to explain this other than like French architectural style in certain places where they were, and of course that ties in with Maison very well. And then there was what looked to me like just a major US city, could have been New York. I would have to go back and get a closer look at those signs specifically, but yeah. And so you're seeing the ways that all of these places have been impacted by whatever this apocalyptic crisis is, while they're singing about needing to someone to fight for and save our home and showing all these different. So, and I also really kind of liked so the scene, especially near the end, where they are all together, all dressed in white in their kind of goddess outfits, goddess staging. They're kind of just standing there silently staring at you or sitting staring at you a lot of the time, which is of course very different than we see in the other areas of the video where they're much more physical, whether they're dancing or singing or portraying themselves fighting and using magic, it seems. So it kind of gives the impression almost of them just watching what is happening and helplessly judging, which I think could be an interesting thing to add into if we're talking about environmentalism and they're saying, you know, someone fight for us and you need to save, you know, do something. Because I do think it's a significant issue that a lot of younger people in the world today feel very helpless in the face of environmental crises. And looking at the older people who are in positions of power and saying, can you please do something? While at the same time having to, you know, try to figure out ways to help yourself, save yourself, which ties back into some of their earlier ideas having to do with online social dynamics and structures about how, you know, try to push back and fight back against that, but eventually having to just kind of take control in yourself. And yeah, we have another guest. Hey, hi, baby. Yes, now Nala's here. Kitties are very concerned with getting attention this morning. All right, so I feel like I've rambled on long enough, but my first impressions are very positive. I, of course, think that I will have a more complete picture of exactly the story after I get to check out the album overall, and that will definitely add to it. But so far, I liked that. It was beautiful aesthetically. The dancing was great, as to be expected. The story, as I'm interpreting it, seems really interesting. And the song itself was really catchy. Like, it's currently in my head right now, so I'll probably be going around singing it for the rest of the day, especially after I edit this and hear it a couple more times. But yeah, so I want to hear you guys' thoughts as well. What are your thoughts on this as the first single from Dreamcatcher's upcoming, well, released, probably by the time this is posted, already released album? What are your thoughts about the video as well, and the pop theme, and your interpretations and my interpretation? And yeah, so gonna wrap this up here so I can edit this and get it posted hopefully as soon as possible. But thank you guys so much for joining me, and hopefully see you next time. Bye. Bye, Nala.